Can copy data be in the cloud? That's a great question. First off, you might find yourself asking, what is copy data? Well, copy data is really all it, I think the answer is in the question. Basically, in IT, we always have a server, and then we've got a backup server of some sort. And everything that goes here is copy data. But it's not just backups. It's also copies that we have for things like test and development, right? So historically, this was copy data, and then we didn't really think of anything else that we made as copy data. But now, if I make down here a couple of other things, and we've got test and we've got development, all of this is now copy data. And the question is, can all of this be put in the cloud? We're starting to see solutions in the last several years that we call copy data management solutions, which manage all of these. And generally, those solutions are meant to handle snapshots. The way that we, in one way or another, people are leveraging snapshots to handle both test, development, and data protection purposes of copies. So the question is, can we then take all of this and put it up, in the magical cloud? That's a question. There are, and first off, why would we do that? Well, there are a lot of great reasons to use the cloud in general. I'd say the biggest one that people like to quote is the expandability of the cloud with the ability to contract. So if I suddenly need 800 test or development servers, I can make 800 copies in the cloud, pay a little bit extra for them while I'm using them, and then stop using them and my bill goes back down. We can't do that down here. If we need 800 copies, we have to buy 800 copies. There is no leasing of storage generally in most data centers. If it is, it's leasing it for 3 years at a time. But I can make 800 copies up here, use it for literally a day, and then delete them, and I'm done. That's the beautiful thing about the cloud. And because of that expandability and contractibility, generally speaking over time, a lot of people end up spending less in the cloud than they would for things back here. So the question is, can we put it there? Well, one of the problems is that this is a really long way away, right? There's a little thing there, I'm just going to put a big I, little thing between our data center and that called the internet. And there is, the problem is that when we get to here, it's one thing when we're doing backups, and we're storing the occasional file back from the cloud. That's not a big deal. It's also a great thing to have it in the cloud when we do something called DRAS, right? Which is, I'm running out of room here, but DRAAS, Disaster Recovery as a Service. It's a great idea to have that in the cloud because we can run servers up in the cloud and do that. The question is, can we put copy data up in the cloud for test and development purposes? Because we're running that stuff back here. So the question is, how do we have it in the cloud, but have the performance of having it back here in the local data center? And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in a webinar called What's Wrong with DRAS? So I'm going to say nothing's wrong with DRAS. I love DRAS, but the question is, what else could we do with DRAS? So that's kind of what we're implying with that title. So I hope you join us for that webinar, and I'll see you there.